So welcome back to another video from Sekistan. Today's video is a little bit different, following on from the video put up on Sunday, the video on the ACTN3 gene. I mentioned I got my 23andMe done. You could do any of these. I don't really think it matters. Some people don't want to get theirs done. Other people don't give a shit like me. So I wanted to get mine done, see what it was. So I got my 23andMe done, and we're just going to go through some of the traits or some of the things that are related to DNA. Because we've talked a lot about genetics recently, talking about how people are kind of a little bit uneducated, or a little bit, maybe not uneducated, maybe like under the scope of just how much influence genetics has on every single thing you do, will do, or have done.
I would say a lot of people are like Egyptian fish when it comes to genetics.
What the fuck does that mean?
They're in denial.
Oh,
there
this
it is.
fucking guy. So the first step that we're going to look at is one of the things 23andMe highlights is, and we're not sponsored by 23andMe as well, by the way, big evil company probably, is whether you have any Neanderthal DNA. I had less than 2%, which was 31% more than other customers. So
if you're 31% more, you're in the 69th percentile.
Yes.
For Neanderthal DNA.
So
I would have put you in 95 percentile for Neanderthal DNA.
So there is 227 variants that you could be associated with Neanderthal DNA that they've discovered so far, and so about 2% of my DNA is Neanderthal. So basically, somewhere back along, some of my ancestors made very, very good friends with some Neanderthal.
Some kissing friends.
So there's a lot of groups of humans out there who won't have any Neanderthal DNA.
Okay.
Will have nothing. I think if you're European or European ancestry, you're more likely. Okay. And I think the further west or east you go, whichever direction, you'll have more or less, I think. So there's different, you're less likely to have Neanderthal DNA depending. So
something I asked you about earlier was, is there a slight skewing towards or away from the group of people who would like to get DNA testing like this done, and people who say would have more or less Neanderthal DNA?
It would be, are you trying to say Neanderthal people are
I'm not saying anything.
Interested.
I'm not saying anything.
In pretty pictures.
That's not what I said. But
so there's a couple of different variants that would be, or genetic traits that would be associated with having Neanderthal DNA. There's about 227. I have 4 that they're confident. One variant is associated with being less likely to have a fear of heights. I don't think I have more or less a fear of heights than
you don't enjoy heights.
No, but I don't have a phobia. Like,
no.
I wouldn't say
it's not inhibitive. Like,
no. But I think I have a healthy fear of dying. Like,
you have a healthy fear of high things and falling off them.
Like, which I think is reasonable, given one's propensity to want to stay alive.
Fair enough.
I think that's fair. But I definitely don't have a phobia, so I mean, what do we take from that? You've one variant associated being a better sprinter than distance runner. That is certainly true. You've one variant associated being less likely to prefer salty foods over sweet.
That's the only thing.
No, less likely to prefer salty foods over sweet. So I'm less like, so I prefer sweet foods.
Oh yeah, you definitely do prefer sweet foods.
Yeah, I would prefer sweet foods, but I love salty foods too. So
this actually just brings up one of the main issues. The wording of these is horrendous. You're less likely to not prefer something.
Yeah, you're less likely to not want to do something.
Yeah.
You've one variant associated with eating leafy greens less frequently, which I think is
that's incredibly true.
Certainly true.
Yeah.
So then there's other variants which I didn't have, but there was like you've one variant associated with having difficulty discarding rarely used possessions, experience more itchy mosquito bites, generally not feeling angry when hungry, which is certainly true. Certainly very angry when hungry. Have worse sense of direction. So I don't know. I have pretty good sense of direction.
It's crazy that some of these things you just wonder.
Being more so, obviously, there's one here. Given the fact that YouTube being more likely to have a fear of public speaking, which I think is very, very interesting that they were able to associate that with genetics. Obviously, I don't have a fear of public speaking. I don't think I ever had, really, to be honest. Being more likely to cry when cutting onions. I'm pretty immune to crying when I'm cutting onions.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Being less likely to have a hitchhiker's thumb. So is that the one where your thumb does go?
One of mine doesn't go, and the other. Oh wait.
None of
this one goes back.
Cool. So I assume that's if it goes all the way back.
Yeah.
So less likely. So that means I'm more likely to have it. So I suppose, they go free power back, don't they? Yeah. Being more likely to sweat during a workout. I certainly sweat during training. So.
But you don't have these traits.
No. But obviously you can still have these traits in real life. Being less likely to blush easily. Being less likely to sneeze with a full stomach.
What?
Being less likely to have stretch marks, and then there's being more likely for dark chocolate over milk. There's a few other traits. These aren't all of the ones, but these are a good example of a few of them. So then we have stuff like physical features. So I have a 72% chance of having little or no back hair. I'd say I have minimal back hair.
Do you?
I think of minimal for being a reasonably hairy person. Quite hairy person.
For being a big hairy fucker.
I think of minimal back hair for given the rest, so that's fair. 84% chance to have a bald spot. I do not have a bald spot, just where the growth is. My missus asked me this, right? So I have a 58% chance of not having dimples. She said, do you have dimples? And I said, I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've shaved, I don't know if I have dimples.
Yeah.
I think I have dimples. Then there's cleft chin, so that's like an ass chin, isn't it? Where your chin.
Cleft chin is ass chin, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have an ass chin, I think. 70% to have dandruff. I do have dandruff, for sure. 90% chance you've detached earlobes. They're very confident of this one. Yeah. I do have the little detached earlobes.
Early hair loss.
So 74% you will not experience hair loss or thinning before the age of 40, which I think I've quite a reasonable head of hair.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Yeah. Then they just can't seem to match what kind of eye colour you might have, which I thought was kind of interesting. You think that would be an easy one, but obviously it's not.
Yeah, must not be.
Given all the...
So 52% chance of blue eyes.
Yeah.
And then they give you like down to 1% or less than 1%.
Of all the other colours.
Yeah.
So then there's this finger length ratio one. So 81% chance of your finger, your ring finger longer than your index finger, which is, yes, is true.
Wait, what?
Your
Ring
ring finger
finger being longer.
So some people have associated this with the amount of testosterone you're exposed to in uteri or uterus.
Right. And which one is which?
I think it was ring finger being longer than index finger, but I could be wrong. I've also broken some of my knuckles, so it looks different from this side.
Yeah.
50 chance you have few if any freckles. I'm not that freckly for a fair
you have a lot of freckles. Like.
That's not that bad though.
Is it not?
Not really though. Like compared to the rest of my body, like this is the one that's hyperexposed.
Yeah.
78% chance you've hair photo bleaching. My hair doesn't. I don't think it does it? I don't think it's gone darker. Yeah. No, I don't think so. So that's obviously if your hair gets lighter in the sunlight.
Jeez, my hair gets frightfully blonde in sunlight.
Is it?
Yeah.
You try and avoid it. Hair texture. Your genetics predict 42% of slightly wavy hair.
I would say the 9% chance of big curls is much truer.
Yeah, I have very curly hair, so wrong again, 23andMe. 40% of dark blonde hair. That's light or dark hair, I'm not sure about that. 70,
there we go.
73% of having red hair. They're on.
The joke when Gerf got these results first was that all of these could have been gotten from his Instagram account. And to be honest, besides the percentage of Neanderthal, we could have surmised a lot of these.
Toe length ratio. So there's 61% chance you have a longer big toe. I have a normal big toe. It's normally...
I have a much longer middle toe.
So you're one of the genetic bottlenecks, I assume. An absolute freak. So 61%.
It's a sign of athletic prowess.
It's definitely not. 61% you do not have a unibrow. I don't thankfully. Widow's peak. 80% chance you do not have a widow's peak. I don't, but somebody here has a widow's peak.
Is this a widow's peak?
Is that a widow's peak? If you looked up in the dictionary widow's peak, it'd be a picture of Dara sitting here like this.
Is it actually? Is that what this is? Over here we call that a cow's lick.
Yeah, same thing. Like they're not going to call it a cow's lick in America.
In the Americans.
Taste and smell. So asparagus odor detection likely can smell. I can smell asparagus. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you smell asparagus?
Yeah.
Okay.
My piss doesn't smell after asparagus, which is another genetic trait.
That's nice to know.
Just in case you were wondering.
Bitter taste. Likely can taste. I can taste bitter. Cilantro taste aversion. Slightly higher odds of disliking cilantro. I don't know if I dislike cilantro.
Jeez, I don't know if I've ever eaten cilantro.
You've probably eaten cilantro. Ice cream flavor preference. About a 50-50 chance of preferring vanilla or chocolate ice cream. To be honest, neither of those would be my favourite, but I'd probably, if it was between those two, I'd probably pick vanilla. A lot of chocolate ice cream is shite. Sweet versus salty, likely prefer salty.
No, that's...
I'd say for sweet stuff.
You definitely do, yeah.
Ability to match musical pitch, less likely able to match the musical pitch.
If ever we were bang on from 23andMe.
I don't know.
We have powerful genetics.
Yeah. I taught myself to play the accordion when I was like 10. Hell, I don't know if I'm on that one. Bunions, less likely than average to have a bunion.
Are bunions the lumps on your feet?
I think so.
What are the ones in your arse if you sit on a radiator? Piles.
Do you spend a lot of time?
Not sure about that.
Sitting on radiators. Fear of heights, or that one, fear of public speaking. Flat feet, less likely than average to have flat feet. Fine arches on me.
Fine powerful pair of feet.
Hair thickness, less likely to have thick hair. How do you define these things? Like what's thick? What's thick and what's that dance? Misophonia. Average odds of hating chewing sounds.
Fuck me, does Garth hate chewing sounds?
Jesus Christ.
If there's a
powerful reaction.
A powerful guttural reaction to the noise of somebody chewing.
It's the most annoying thing. It's unbelievable. That's something that's always annoyed me.
As somebody who sits at a desk next to one for 60 hours a week, I can tell you he really, 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 really doesn't like the sound of chewing.
Yeah, it's so fucking annoying. I hope there's people watching this and they'll be able to appreciate that. Mosquito bite frequency. Likely bitten as often as others. That's one thing. I never get bitten.
Never get bitten.
The only thing that bites me is the what are those?
The urge to kill.
The horse flies. You know those things?
Yeah.
Those
where
things
slash your skin and
they get their little sandy blades and they cut you.
Jesus Christ, they're vicious.
They're the only thing that bites me regularly every year. Everything else.
When a horsefly is like it just.
Yeah,
it hits you as well. Like
it's like stabbing you in your leg. Like I'd be like, if I was out in the summer shorts in the fields of summer, like I would be. They would bite me.
Eaten alive.
Jeez,
I get eaten alive by everything.
You were. I've never seen anyone.
Midges, mosquitoes, horseflies.
I've never seen anyone.
Small donkeys.
So delicious to
fuck me.
Insects. Like you should see it anywhere. There was one time when we were in Turkmenistan. We were camping in the deserts. And
surrounded, so like a swarm.
So during the day it's really, really low humidity, so there's hardly any animals out. But in the evening it gets really cool, and then the sun goes down just like 6 o'clock in the evening, like just it goes on really fast, and then out of nowhere a blizzard of every different kind of flying insect you could imagine was flying around the place, and we were trying to eat dinner. And we couldn't turn on any lights because obviously the lights just made them go fucking bananas. And they were like flying into me, being like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" And then they're like, "I can smell Dara," like just running straight for him. I've never seen.
Holy shit, that was terrible.
I didn't have to use any repellent for that whole trip. I'd say it made no difference.
Yeah, I eat that repellent.
Is that a compliment for you? Like, it's
or
like,
or is it like
oh, he smells like shit.
Yeah. Look at this fat fucker.
But you said you have the universal blood donor type, do you?
I have the really, really, really low percentage blood type.
Oh, maybe. I wonder if
they keep texting me asking me to give them more blood.
I wonder if that's anything to do with it.
Maybe.
I think there was tiny thing for a while.
O negative?
Do you want to see CO2 that comes out of your breath when you breathe attractive mosquitoes potentially?
Okay.
But
that's how they find you.
You must be just CO2. Vomiting out CO2.
But no, because you're next to me, like, and they know.
No, they didn't know that delicious Dara. They're like, photo sneeze reflex. Likely photo sneeze reflex. This happens, not a lot, but like sometimes this will happen to me where I'll just start sneezing if they're light, and then wake up time likely to wake up around 8:34 a.m.
You're an early riser.
Yeah, I'd be like a 7 or half 7. That's so specific though.
Yeah.
8:34 a.m. I think that's. Oh wait, there's more. Oh, there's more. Oh my god.
There's more.
Ooh la la. So then there is alcohol flush, unlikely to flush. No, I didn't even know that was.
That's definitely a thing. Yeah, I played rugby with a lad. Anytime you drank vodka, bright red.
No fucking way.
Bright red, yeah.
Caffeine consumption, likely to consume less. Maybe this is why it's so easy for me to give up caffeine.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it was very easy just for me to like, oh no, stop. And I've done it twice. So there's some sleep stuff which is actually quite interesting. So there is deep sleep, less likely to be a deep sleeper. I would say I'm not a deep sleeper. In general, maybe I'm one of those people who could sleep about 4 hours, which is no, I'm definitely.
Your sleep does get disturbed quite easily.
Yeah, for sure it does. So there's some like traits associated with your sleep, but less likely to be a deep sleeper. Then there's like less likely to move, which is definitely true. I'm quite rigid when I'm asleep. I'm just like when I'm there. Genetic weight, predisposed to weigh above average. That's certainly true, given how fast I went from like 70 to 105 kilos.
You've no bother putting on a few kilos of mass.
No bother. So there's so someone my age, 177 pounds.
Who's 5'10"?
Average. So that's like fucking 60 kilos or something.
Nah, that has to be wrong.
What human weighs that much? That little, I should say. So that is 80 kilos.
Maybe. You're certainly not 80 kilos.
25 kilos above average. Well, about 20 kilos at the moment. I'm down like 5 kilos. So that's mad that they can do stuff like that.
What height? Are you 5'10"?
No, I'm 5'8". So probably less again. It's probably like 75. Limiting. What the
Is this your action plan?
This is to eat less red meat.
Avoid fast food. Eat less red meat. Eat more vegetables.
No. There's no vegetables there, is there?
It was there.
Well, losers. Lactose intolerance, likely tolerant. I'm very tolerant. Super tolerant. I am so tolerant. I believe lactose should have all the rights in the world.
High degree of tolerance.
I'm very tolerant to it.
Yeah.
Muscle composition. This is again the ACTN3 one. So obviously, I have both functional copies. That's all there is to say about that. I mean, it's probably not.
You've covered that in depth.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
ACTN3 video. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it because it's great.
Saturated fat and weight. So this is actually an interesting one, right? So there's one what they're saying.
Right.
Well, that's science.
The science dorks.
If you could be really sensitive to eating saturated fat and more likely to gain weight.
Right.
And your weight is likely to be similar on diets high or low in saturated fat with the same number of calories.
So you can basically process saturated fat quite well.
Yep. It looks like that. That's interesting. I didn't know there was traits for that, obviously, until I saw this. And then sleep movement, likely average or less movement. So yeah. I'd love to see yours. I'd love if you got one of these done. I'd be so interested to see. I'd just be so interested. Your deep sleep would just be like high levels of deep sleep.
I'd get eaten incredibly quickly by mosquitoes.
Yes.
I'd sleep incredibly deeply.
Yes.
My middle toe is longer than my big toe.
May have a widow's peak.
May have a widow's peak. I would have that photo bleaching of the hair. I could tell you most of them already.
What's advanced? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this video.
If we missed something in Gerf's report, comment down below because it's very likely we skipped over something. And they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, you forgot this.
If you like this video, it really does help us if you give it a like. If you're not subscribed already, then obviously you just don't want to have anything to do with us and don't watch any more videos. We'd really appreciate that.
One thing I don't like about 23andMe is they don't separate British and Irish, and obviously very politically insensitive given 800 of the last 900 years.
Yeah.
So just...
You'd want to sort that out, lad.
23andMe, if you haven't seen this video, sort that fucking out.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's ridiculous.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
No.
That's insensitive, culturally insensitive. Alright.